If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your fatal words I will choke.
Happy Hump Day to everyone in the sports universe. It is May the 25th, 2022. This is the AM Drive on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, and we are live. For thumbs up, semi action, and the return of Aaron Crouch. Or a little bit. I'm Al Carvel saying, what's up, guys?
What is up, Mike? It's good to be back. I worked late last night, and I got home, and I had some food, and I'm like, you know what? I got a little bit of energy here. Let me see if I can hold on for 2.5 hours until the show starts. So I did. I'm tired now. This plan backfired tremendously, but I wanted to be on with you guys. And I watched last night's show on YouTube on the big screen, and I did not appreciate all the Tampa Bay Lightning slander, so I'm here to defend them.
Oh!
That's one of the main reasons I'm on the show today. No ifs, ands, or buts. I heard all the Tampa Bay Lightning slander. And you know what I really want to hear the most is at the beginning of this series, I can't remember what Mike said, but Sammy said Panthers in 5.
Oh.
So I would like a formal apology for that one.
You know, I love to admit when I'm wrong. I'm the first person to say I get things wrong, and God, did I get this one wrong. It was one of my worst predictions ever, and I'm happy to eat as much humble pie as I can about this because Florida was a fraud. No other way to say it. They did not show up for the series.
And President's Cup is a curse. And Mike, I think when I did the show from my boss's office, I said, you asked who the real threat was. And when I said Tampa, you just said I was a homer, but here we are, Eastern Conference Finals. 6 out of the last 8 years they've been in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'll be taking any and all crow eating from you guys. Sammy, great start.
It's funny that you said that because in my top 5 nicknames, I might pay a little bit of bills in that regard. So just stay tuned for that. We're doing a top 5 today, in case you guys didn't know. So if you host a podcast and run a small business, it can be hard spreading the word. We'll be the first to admit because friends want to check it out, but will they? Who wants to answer this?
Well, I've got friends who check it out. One of them's on the show right now.
Mine suck.
Right here. But yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to get friends and family to check it out. But you just got to keep plugging away at it. And there's no better, company to be associated with than Popple in that regard.
Amen. So grow your brand with Popple. It's Popl. It's easy to use the high-tech digital business card. You can get your Popple using the code AMDRIVE in all caps for 20% off. Set up your links and share. And don't worry, if you share with them, might even need a Popple or the Popple app. So it makes it that much easier. So when you get your Popple and keychain, Pop Sucker, even credit card form, enter the code AMDRIVE, all caps, for 20% off on popl.co.
I'd like to interject here just really quick because I found a new thing with iPhone, if you have an iPhone, called widgets. I don't know if this is on the latest update, but if you can see that QR code there, that's my Popple code.
Wow.
This QR code right here on the screen.
That's pretty cool.
So not only do I, if I don't have my Popple, because now with the car that doesn't have a key, I don't have my Popple keychain with me. So I can literally just have people scan this QR code.
Humble brag.
Yeah, whatever.
You see what 2 hours of no sleep will do waiting for the show to start? Look at all the things he finds.
Look at this. I find things on my phone. It's awesome.
Oh, starts chirping off on
Let's
Twitter.
get into some sports talk here, guys.
Well, before the sports talk, unfortunately, we have to pay our respects. And I don't even want to say thoughts at all at this point. It's just stupid at this point. Because we all know there was a Texas school shooting at an elementary school yesterday, killing more than 14 kids to adults. It's just a horrible thing that happened. And I hate talking about this stuff in general, but then when it's a bunch of kids, it's terrible because it's their entire lives ahead of them. And no one, I don't care how mad you are if them deserves to get shot. I feel like people who want to shoot people are just like, it's why kill? Like, if you don't like somebody that much, just go away and go somewhere else. But it's even worse when it's like a mass shooting for innocent people, innocent children. So I want to say my respects to the families, and just one death is hard enough, but all of those are just insane. Can't imagine what that community is going through right now. So I'm at a loss for words. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I try not to delve too much into these waters, but an absolutely terrible day. I have 2 young kids, and it is heartbreaking to hear these stories. And my heart pours for these families, and I hope something can be done to, fix this problem we have in this country, make it a little bit less likely for these things to occur.
Like it's a rinse repeat kind of thing right now, and it's obviously at the political forefront for both sides. And it's just like you said, it's not something you really want to delve into on a sports show or really in life. But the mental health, we've talked about it, Mike, you and I, on a number of fronts, from Ben Simmons to Calvin Ridley to Simone Biles to our own. And, just it's the bigger issue that no one really wants to talk about because we don't know about it. We just look at the material situation here, and it's clearly a crisis, but all I'll say is just guns don't shoot themselves.
It's a fair point. And without getting to the political side of things, we just want to say we love you, Texas, and I think about I went to public school myself, so I can't even imagine what that would be like. If those people that did survive, I can't imagine what they're going to live with for the rest of their lives. So,
absolutely,
shout out to them, and 5 seconds of silence is obviously the key here. Alrighty. Well, let's get into sports because Steve Kerr made a great point that obviously it's just thoughts and prayers and then go Dubs. And I want to give credit because basketball did play their game in the state of Texas. And the Mavericks won. It's getting to a little longer than expected because there was a leaky roof, which apparently the second time that thing is leaked this season. But Luka Doncic, I've said it before, I'll say it again. He has help when all of his guys around him are hitting threes. And that was a very apparent last night. Sammy, I want you to go first here because you're the big Warriors guy. I feel like this Golden State team is beatable. And I don't think Mavericks have to shoot the lights out. I just feel like if they can make their threes, these are the same shots they were getting in the first 3 games. They just made them now. This is the problem for Golden State no matter who they play next.
I mean, in the NBA, in today's world, anybody who shoots 40% from 3 is going to have a 20-point lead, it seems like. I mean, every series we've seen in the playoffs, one team goes off in the first half and the score is 20-something points. With that being said, Dallas played a great game. Their guys hit shots. Apparently, if I call out a guy on the show, he goes off the next game because Reggie Bullock was absolute fire in this game. And I think he could miss. But the Warriors still had a shot at the end. They came back. They cut the lead down to 8. They had the opportunity to make this a game late. And I think once it gets back to Golden State, the series is basically over. Kudos Dallas, but yeah, this is not a team that's going to sustain that level of shooting in every game, especially on the road.
Aaron, I'm sure you didn't catch it, but there's probably a little bit of life here knowing that this team blew a 3-1 lead before, right?
Yeah, well, it was a 3-1 lead. This is a 3-0 lead, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, if we get Stat Boy in here, has never been accomplished.
162-0, I think, or 146.
In basketball, it's never been accomplished. It has been accomplished in hockey and baseball. But, I mean, Mike, I could lead that story with water is wet. I mean, if basketball teams hit their shots, they win games. I mean, that's just fact. I mean, what do we have? I did catch this game, actually, because working in the casino, TVs are on. And what do the majority of people who are in a casino watch? They watch sports. And I work at a time when sports is on live. So I did catch this one along with the hockey games last night as well. But it's a situation where and I know it sounds chummy and low hanging fruit, but it does seem like a spot where Golden State utilized an opportunity to play a lot of young players and get guys in the game. And what I thought and kind of took away from that is this team is playing 10 steps ahead of the rest of the NBA. They're
Yeah.
so good in the here and now that they can afford to just throw away a game almost, it seemed like. I mean, Steph Curry finished, 10 minutes shy of his game average. Clay barely played. And they got guys like Kuminga and Poole, obviously, who's been an up-and-coming star. Moody, all these guys getting 23, 24 minutes a game up from their season averages. I think even if Dallas makes their shots, I think this is a gentleman's sweep at this point.
That could be true, but I just want to warn people. People are like, oh, well, if you make your shots. I just want to realize when Luka plays, it's almost like LeBron, like attack the paint, everyone goes to you, and he hit the guy outside for three. That's why I feel like the Mavericks are more so of a team that needs that to happen, that need the threes to fall, because it's not just a bunch of ISO guys. Although Brunson can get his, Dinwiddie can come and go 2 times out of 10. But really, Luka looks way better when his guys are hitting threes, because that way it opens him up to take, someone off the dribble. I mean, like, I feel like in the Phoenix Sun series, if the Mavericks had hit the threes that they did in the Phoenix Sun series, they might be up, 3-1 right now.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I watched this, when I could, because I have a job to do, but Luka looked a little slow last night.
That's how he always plays, actually. It's interesting. I don't know what. It's almost like he's in slow motion. I can't.
He looked like he was half speed. I didn't understand it. And maybe it is, but maybe that is. People are just watching him. They move too fast, and he decides to be over. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I've watched a few. I watched the NBA playoffs on surface level here, and to me, that one it looked a little different yesterday. And maybe, like you said, he seemed to be facilitating more than he had been in the past. Even though he did only have 9 assists, I did see a lot of more facilitating. So for me, in this one, I just feel like, when the Mavericks go on the road and Golden State's at home, I mean, we're looking at, here's the situation. If, I can flip the script here. If the Golden State Warriors hit four more 3-pointers and they shoot 50% from 3, they win. But no, they're 10 for 28, just like the Mavericks were with, the situation here. Like Andrew Wiggins has, a beast of a game. 3. And now in game 4, we finished with 13 points. So it's a situation where, like, again, Steph is going to get his minutes. Clay is going to be out there a little bit longer. So I don't know. I just don't see it. I think if Dallas can keep it close if they hit their shots, but isn't that what basketball is? Is you gotta hit shots. I covered a Magic team back in 06 to 09, 010 region, and they lived and died by the 3. It was Dwight Howard, and if he couldn't find it, they kicked it out to Hedo Turkoglu, Jameer Nelson, Rashard Lewis. They lived and died by the 3. And the series they beat the Cavaliers and then shocked the world, they couldn't miss. And then they go and play the Lakers, and they couldn't hit anything. So, I mean, these teams are boom or bust. They're kind of like the Florida Panthers. You score 4 or 5 goals a game, all's great. But when you can't score, they realize that your goalies just suck.
When you're down 3-0, I mean, you can't have one bad game, right? You can't have one bad shooting half.
Right.
They fall behind by 20 in game 5, this series is over. I mean, they have to hit their shots at this very high level every quarter for the rest of the series. And the first time they don't, the series basically is over. And
that's a good point. Perfection is the only option right now.
Yeah. And it's not easy.
I love that they attacked the rim last night. That was good.
Do you honestly believe that Dallas can extend this series to 7 games?
Yes.
No.
Wow.
That was yes, I agree. I do
Okay,
like.
that's fair. It's not overwhelmingly unbelievable. It's just it's such a small percentage that I would say it's if I had to put a percentage at less than 5, maybe less than 1.
That's fair. And we have to take a break here. When we come back, top 5 nicknames in sports, and I'll let these 2 hockey pucks talk about the games last night. One of them featured 27 penalty minutes from one team. It's not good. We'll be right back. The AM Drive with Mike and Aaron might be the best morning show ever. If you love the show, shop the merchandise for $26 hoodies, $16 shirts, even $13 mugs. High quality swag for cheap because Mike and Aaron love the fans. The best morning show, the lowest price merch at amdrive.online.
This is Popple, the next generation business card. With just a tap, your Popple instantly shares your digital business card to both iPhone and Android devices. The best part? The other person doesn't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. To pop your info, tap your Popple to the top of an iPhone, the center of an Android, or just scan your in-app QR code. And just like that, all your info is saved to their phone. More connections, more leads, more sales. That's Popple. Download our free app and get your Popple today.
Aren't you the Vice Golf guy?
Yeah, you want an autograph?
Yeah. Actually, I was just wondering if the balls are any good.
The balls are amazing. You look like a Pro Plus guy.
I thought you'd never ask. It's actually better than my old ball.
And it's half the price.
Top performing golf ball, half the price. It's almost stealing.
Quit searching the globe and get your high-performing golf balls at vicegolf.com.
Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and players you love. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Go and bring it in, Aaron.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, welcome back to the AM Drive here on our Twitter, our Facebook, and our YouTube pages. If you have not done so already, you've got to get all the latest and greatest in sports gear, merchandise, apparel, and etc. And there's only one place you can do it, and that's Fanatics. And there's only one website that gets you there and helps out this show tremendously, and that's mikeandaarondrive.com. And when you get to mikeandaarondrive.com, Mike, what do you do?
Help me out, Sam. We got to click
The
F.
F.
Oh,
That went well. That went well. Yes, absolutely. And when you click that F, it takes you right into the Fanatics website. And then what else do you do, Mike? What do you do a million times?
Click add to cart. Click add to cart.
Click add to cart and buy. And when you buy all of that awesome merchandise, gear, swag, apparel, whatever you want to call it, it helps out the AM Drive tremendously. And for that, we thank you. And it helps bring awesome segments like Top 5 Wednesday.
Woohoo! Hump Day's feeling a little bit important today, ain't we?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I'm digging it. I'm happy to be on the show. I'm starting to go a little delusional. I'm tired as heck, but I'm here.
I'll probably let you both go at 10:30. How about that? So top 5 nicknames in sports. This is actually a credit to Sammy. Because Sammy, before the show yesterday, we were talking about like a certain team, and he goes, I hate that team name. He said, it has nothing to do with them. And we were like, that's a good point. Like the Lions and the Tigers of Detroit, like why? The Jaguars of Jacksonville, the Carolina Panthers, it's just stupid. So we want the best nicknames in sports. And Aaron, since you're returning, why don't you go first?
Well, let me be the first to say the 2 stupidest nicknames in sports because of where they are located right now is the Utah Jazz and the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's just put that because
and
of them.
Colts, by the way, too. That's a dumb. What the baby Broncos?
Well, that one's not as bad, but Minneapolis Lakers makes sense. Los Angeles Lakers makes absolutely no sense.
Agreed.
And the Utah Jazz makes no sense as the New Orleans Jazz makes sense.
There are no Grizzlies in Memphis. There were plenty in Vancouver, none in Memphis.
Yes, that is true. That is fair, yes. But sometimes you still want to keep the brand. You want to grow your brand with Popple. You don't want to change the brand. So
you want to click the F and get this awesome hat. It was on sale.
That is pretty awesome looking. What team is that? Oh, Indianapolis.
It's the draft hats.
I can dig it. All right, top 5 Wednesday, the best nicknames in sports. I'll go ahead and start us off here. So number 5 for me, looks like I've got 2 NFL teams, 2 college teams, and a basketball team. Who'd have thought that one? So starting off here, number 5 for me is the Baltimore Ravens, a theoretical expansion team of sorts, even though we know it was the Cleveland Browns picking up and moving. They were labeled as an expansion team. And you would think, exports, crabs, not really that great. But how about the most famous resident, poet and story writer Edgar Allan Poe, and one of his most famous is, of course, the Raven. So I thought that was a kind of a nice and unique tip of the cap. And most people who may or may not know Edgar Allan Poe, especially the ones who don't, are probably like, why the heck are they Ravens? But I thought that was a pretty cool nickname and a pretty cool homage. Number 4 for me is the Philadelphia 76ers. We live in America. America was founded theoretically in 1776 after we declared our independence from those guys across the pond. So for me, I think despite the fact that I'm not a big basketball or obviously Philadelphia, the city fan, I do like the nickname. I don't like the Sixers, though. I like it when they're the 76ers. I like that. If they're the Sixers, I'm out. Number 3 for me, this one might take a little bit of a left turn here. The Nebraska Cornhuskers. The obvious most prominent crop in Nebraska export is, of course, corn. And their previous name back at the turn of last century was the Bug Eaters. So God forbid anything else is better than the Bug Eaters, but I like the Cornhuskers. My mom's a Cornhusker through and through, so that's a little bit of a little connection there as well. But God, anything's better than Bug Eaters. Come on.
All right.
Number 2, another one hits home here. It's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, it's one of my favorite teams. We know that, but it's in a reference to the Spanish pirates who invaded the coasts of Florida and, I don't want to say raped, but pillaged villages. And the most famous one of those pirates is Jose Gaspar. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but there's a celebration right around Super Bowl time called, it's not connected to Super Bowl, but it's right around that time, called Gasparilla. Have either of you guys heard of that?
Is that where the bowl game comes from?
Well, the Gasparilla Bowl is tied to it as well. Oh. Gasparilla is basically Tampa's version of Mardi Gras. It's a phenomenal event. If you ever get a chance to go down to Tampa during Gasparilla, it's insane. It's an awesome time, and obviously that in the connection to the Buccaneers, obviously the team gets involved in Gasparilla as well. So that's kind of the entire reference. I know I'm droning on here a little bit.
That's fine.
But the Buccaneers is, although it's a home team for me, I do love the name Buccaneers for sure. And number 1 for me, I think this one's a little off the grid. And actually, I knew this a long time ago, but I kind of relearned it when you brought up this lesson, this assignment, Sammy. And that's the North Carolina Tar Heels. Now, there's 3 different theories as to how they got their name, the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. And the first one is that obviously the state's exports of tar and pine forest pitch led to the nickname, the Tar Heels, for the University of North Carolina. Another one is the unit from the state of North Carolina in the Civil War stood its ground versus retreating as if they had tar on their heels, which means they weren't going anywhere. And the third explanation is that the residents of the state during the Revolutionary War, as the British were coming, they poured tar on the paths to slow down the British advance. So all 3 of those are awesome stories. I don't know which one had the hand in it. Maybe all of them did. But to me, the North Carolina Tar Heels is my number 1 for top 5 nicknames in sports. Now, you should preface this. It's the Big 4 plus college. Because the Savannah Bananas is the coolest thing ever.
Well, it's a cool. By the way, the people around here actually hated that. Just like they did the Golden Knights. They because it used to be the Sand Gnats. And that's like an evil bug that just irritates
I'm
the
aware of
crap out of
Sand
you.
Gnat, absolutely.
But the Bananas, I didn't really think about it, but the way that they marketed that, I think there's a team around here called the Making Bacon as well, which I think is just poorly marketed apparently. But the Bananas is now verified on Twitter. That's insane.
Tip of the
That
cap is
was
Savannah Bananas.
That was an awesome list, Aaron. A great recap of some of the history of these teams and what makes these team names unique and interesting and embody the cities or areas in which they're playing. And that to me is what makes a great nickname. The reason this conversation started is the teams that just lazily pick a bird or pick a cat as their nickname,
or Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah, there's just no reason, because they're cool or whatever. It doesn't have any pizzazz to the area. It doesn't have any gravitas to what you're doing, where you're doing it. Even my beloved Golden Knights, like, it made no sense. There's nothing golden or knights about our city, and we've captured that essence, but it didn't have anything to do with us originally. It doesn't represent Vegas in any way. Now it does, but it didn't when it was chosen. And so I'm a big believer in picking names or having teams that represent the area and the people can get behind in that way. So that was a really great history lesson on some of these teams. Really, really impressive.
So I want to let you know, you are going next, by the way, but I want to let you know, I believe me and Aaron found that out together on a show we were doing about the North Carolina. Because I was like, what is a Tar Heel? I think Aaron Googled it on the break. It was like, oh, wow, check this out. I was like, there's 3 explanations. I think that was the first time you learned that, right, Aaron?
I think we did Alabama Crimson Tide.
No, I think, because I remember you told me about the North Carolina one. Wow, I didn't even know that. There's 2 of them with 3 different names. Cool.
Yeah, the Crimson Tide used to be the Crimson, Crimson White, and Crimson Tide, and then obviously Crimson Tide stuck. So.
Go ahead, Sammy.
I tried to avoid college. I wanted to keep it to a little bit of a bigger scope. Colleges, they tend to have either very generic names or names that are very specific to their very localized areas. So I just picked the big 4 sports areas. My number 5 on this list are the Milwaukee Brewers. None of these teams am I a fan of, but I really do enjoy their names. Beer is the biggest thing in Milwaukee. And if it wasn't for beer, I don't know that Milwaukee would even have a big footprint in the sports landscape at all. So paying homage to their bread and butter, I thought was really well done. And it created quite a bit of good nicknames on top of nicknames. You have the Brew Crew and that kind of stuff. And so I like that one. Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, is very unique. And then of all the nicknames, I think that one perfectly embodies the people of that area. That the hard hat area, the blue collar, pick up your straps and put them over your shoulders and get to work. The Steelers persona has been that for so long that I think that really encapsulates that area very, very well.
Steel City.
For basketball, I have the Pistons, the Detroit Pistons. Again, the car industry has made Detroit for decades and decades. And not only is the Pistons a great nickname for sports, but it's a good nickname for teammates. It's a good way to bring homage to that area as well as togetherness. And the Pistons played that way for a really long time. The Firing Pistons were a juggernaut, back in the day, and it really, really did embody that team well. Number 4 on my list is baseball, the New York Yankees. This is a very old franchise, one that's been around for a long time. And I think the Yankees very well took the ownership of New York back then. And I think even now, hundreds of years later, it's still a big embodiment of New York citizens. Everybody knows the top hat and the pinstripes, and the Yankees are, one of the most world-renowned sports franchises there is. And I think that one has lasted the test of time better than any of the older nicknames that were given. You have the Giants and other ones like that, but the Yankees is a very special one, in my opinion. Everybody knows who the Yankees are. Yep. And number 1 on the list, the one I think does the best job of capturing their city's essence, is the Boston Celtics. Their Irish roots of Boston and everything that came into that city when that franchise was born still holds true today, even though that's a much more diverse city now. I don't know anybody in Boston who isn't a Celtic. And that franchise, I think, really captured what that city is about and who that city is and how they play. And I love those nicknames. Those are teams that took the extra step to really be unique, be special, and be specific to their area. So that's my list. I'm not going to drone on as long as Aaron. He has a lot more deeper facts in these areas, but those are the ones that really hit home for me.
Sammy, do you have to go right now just to make sure?
I have a couple minutes. Go ahead. I want to hear your list.
Okay, go. Oh, I was just making sure. But okay, cool. So I do love your list. I think your list, out of the ones I've seen, is the best. I kind of cheated on mine, but we're going to get to that point. Number 5 are the Steelers, Steel City. I'm not going to harp on that anymore. I think it's a boring nickname, but I dig the heritage of it all. Number 4 is named after Tampa Bay's status as the Lightning capital of North America. The Tampa Bay Lightning. I love that nickname. I think it's better than Hurricanes because I think Hurricanes is kind of like, I get it, but Lightning is just so striking to the point. I love that whole thing that they got going on. Number 3.
I got you one, Mike. I got you one.
Number 3, this is actually pretty cool. It refers to the colonists of the 13 colonies who rebelled against British control during the American Revolution and in July 1776 declared the United States of America an independent nation. That group is the Patriots, the New England Patriots. Again, more Aaron stuff. I've always loved the red, white, and blue thing. I think it's pretty cool because it screams Boston. I love it. And I hate the city. Number 2, this is a WNBA team. I know it's not NBA, but still WNBA, but it's because it's where you guys live. Also love the nickname. Owned by BetMGM. It's a perfect name to me for a basketball franchise, male or female. The Las Vegas Aces, to me, is an awesome name. Awesome name. It goes with Vegas perfectly. Goes with the people who bought it perfectly. I love it. It goes with like threes. I love it. I love it so much, Las Vegas Aces. And number 1, this team's nickname comes from the mythical Kraken of Scandinavian folklore. And its resemblance to the native giant Pacific octopus, which is found in the waters of the Puget Sound near Seattle. The Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'll tell you another thing. People don't know, Vegas is always associated with gambling and cards and whatnot. But we have the Air Force Base here too, and they call themselves Aces. The top flight people in the area. So that actually has a good double entendre for what Vegas represents. So yeah, it's a very good nickname for the WNBA team.
Well, and it's funny because when the Golden Knights were coming in, the NHL was staunchly against any name that symbolized or recognized gambling, which may or may not have led to the fact that the Golden Knights are the Golden Knights. I mean, who knows? They could have been the Vegas Aces, or they could have been something because they existed before the WNBA team. They could have been. I remember the submissions like Sin City Snake Eyes was one of them. Sin City Spades was one. There were some other ones, and of course, obviously, before the shooting of this, I remember I liked the Sin City Snipers. Obviously, that would have been horrible, but yeah. So, thankfully, the WNBA was like, "Yeah, cool, name them whatever you want."
So when the Knights came to town, they put out a poll for fans to vote on the name. And if I'm not mistaken, the number 1, I want to say it was the overwhelming winner of that poll was the Las Vegas Scorpions.
I love the Scorpions. Someone has to get that.
I actually voted for Scorpions myself. I thought that was a pretty cool nickname. However, the owner of the Knights has some ties to Army. And Army is the Black Knights.
That's right.
And he wanted to pay homage to his heritage. So he chose the Vegas Golden Knights over superseding the fan vote of nickname, which I was not a fan of at the time.
Or he just never planned to use the fan vote and just made you feel good.
for sure. That is definitely a possibility. However, I do like how Vegas has embodied that symbol. And I do think the V that makes up the helmet is one of the coolest symbols in all of sports. So I do give them credit for that. Folks, I got to go. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate it. Thank you for indulging my rant yesterday regarding the Memphis Grizzlies, and I will see everybody later.
Love you, Sammy. See you tomorrow.
Take care.
All righty. Hey, Aaron, why don't we do some hockey recaps, and then I'll let you go.
All right, let's talk a little hockey.
Because last night the Rangers tied it up. I did not watch this game. I would be first to admit, but I knew it was like some bad blood brewing in this Rangers and Hurricane series. Aaron, there were 27 penalty minutes for the Hurricanes alone. Right. That's insane. Most teams get correct me if I'm 6 to 12 a game, if that. That's
Yeah,
like
12's probably high, unless they're
27. What happened, Aaron?
it's I don't know how to explain it. They just
Was it ugly?
it was I caught the second and third period of this game, and it's amazing to me. And actually, Cody Jansen and I were talking about this: is how bad the Hurricanes are on the road for a team that played so well. They were the best team in the Metropolitan Division, and I've told you how many times have I said, the Metro is the best division in hockey, and it's amazing how bad this team is on the road. I mean, they haven't won a single road game yet in the playoffs. And obviously it's okay because now that the Panthers are out, you have home ice advantage the entire season. So if you never win a road game, but you win all your home games, you're fine. You have to play game sevens all the time, but that's, c'est la vie. I will say this, it's, to me, we all wanted to just blow through the Rangers here and get to either a Florida or Tampa, and the Hurricanes get to this matchup. But New York is tough. Gerard Gallant is not going to let this team just lay down and die. I mean, he guided Vegas in an expansion year to the Stanley Cup final, and he's doing it with, I don't even say an inferior product to Carolina, because right now Igor Shesterkin is, while he's not Vasilevsky, he's pretty damn close in the way he's been playing lately. And I would almost say, you see the cap on. If I had to pick right now, based on anything I've seen in the playoffs, I want to face Carolina. I want Carolina all day. I don't want the Rangers. The Rangers scare me. They have timely scoring. They're getting scoring from guys like Frank Vetrano and Andrew Kopp. Like, they're not even getting scoring from their big guys. I mean, I know Mika scored last night. But
I was only got 4 assists too.
Well, that's
not good.
He plays for Carolina, but I'm talking about Mika, and and the thing is there's physicality with the Rangers as well, with Ryan Reeves. Like, there's nobody on Carolina that can match the physical play, so they're just getting beat upside each way, and puck bounces the wrong way at home one time, and you're gone. So, I mean, as a Tampa fan who's sitting at home, I want this to be a knockdown, drag-out, 7-game series. But give me Carolina based on everything I've seen right now. The Rangers scare me a little bit. I'm not going to lie.
Aaron, offense wins games, but defense wins what?
Defense wins championship. Goaltending wins championships.
That's what I mean. So, Tampa Bay is good at blocking the puck. And obviously, these high-scoring teams like Florida and Carolina are crapping their pants. Oh, Carolina hasn't lost the series. Let's be fair. They were up 2-1 until last night. But I've seen a lot of – only thing I've seen succeed so far with all the goals is the Oilers. That's because they're just outscoring people.
Well,
that's going to stop eventually.
Well, and likely they're going to go up against Colorado next round. So while that should be an entertaining matchup, Mike Smith is doomed. Let's see. This guy's given up 175-foot goals. He's doomed against – And by the way, I wanted to say this. I've heard you guys talking about it. I watched the show, or as much as I can, between getting some naps. It is Nazem Kadri, just for your reference.
I think somebody said it at the end, but I said Kadri, and he said, "Oh, it's Kadri." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, it's Nazem Kadri. So
let's talk about him first before we get to this part, and I'll officially let you go. But I do want to ask your thoughts on how well he played in the face of pressure. NHL and TNT crew called him the Brad Marchand of the West, and I thought that was kind of cheap. But I thought he was great. I thought he went in there. He was pinned down. They were beating him up. Like, that's a punk move. You don't do that to people. Give them a chance to fight, right? But I love that he scored 3 goals in their faces after they made death threats and everything. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. What's your thoughts on that?
So, all right. So let's take a walk here for a second, because Nazem Kadri is no angel. Nazem Kadri has been suspended for delivering ugly hits 6 times in his career. So the comparison to Brad Marchand isn't off base.
Right.
He has been suspended 3 times in the playoffs. Twice, many believe, costing his team a series. Once in Toronto and once in
Last year, right?
in Colorado. Yeah, last year.
Against the Blues.
2 years ago against the Blues. 3 years ago, I guess. Whatever year the Blues won the Cup, I believe it was 3 years ago because the Lightning won the last two. This Brad Marchand thing is not so far off base. Now, this specific play, 100%. I have no issues with what happened with Kadri. And obviously Bennington's pissed and backstage, behind the scenes, he threw a water bottle at Kadri. That's so childish. While he was doing an interview, I thought that was so childish.
The entire St. Louis fan base is apparently childish at this point.
So the death threats are obviously stupid. In any sport, it's just so dumb, guys. It's sports. But hockey fans are so much more insane to an extent. Let's call it passionate, but I think insanity might also be the right word. I can't speak for a nation in terms of like a fan nation. And of course and then I saw David Perron after Nazem scored and him trying to take a shot at him. It's just so ugly. But it's not to say that, these guys aren't so far off base. This one was just, oh God, here's Nazem Kadri. Wrong place, wrong time. Now Bennington's out for the series. Right. Did you accidentally take out our goalie who shut you down and made it look like an act? However, I think it was Columbus last year took out, or maybe it was it was the Islanders. The Islanders cheap shotted Kucherov last year. He missed Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals because off the play throws a cross check right into his hip, his lower back. These kinds of plays. Oh, okay. So one of your who gives a crap guys gets suspended for a couple games or gets fined heavily. But now the best guy on the other team, which, you can argue Bennington had been up to that point.
Bennington was incredible, yes.
It is gone. So, you take a couple of games for Kadri. Oh, ho-hum. This happens before. And, again, here I am speculating on Nazem Kadri simply because of his track record. So I get it. The death threats are stupid, but I get it.
That's fair. Oilers edge the Flames. They're up 3-1. And once again, me and Sammy talked about it yesterday, the big three of Vander Kane, Leon Draisaitl, and Connor McJesus. Those assist numbers for Connor McDavid are at 19 now. He's also got a humble 8 goals. It's insane what they're doing right now. But is it sustainable, Aaron? I think this team could beat Colorado. I don't know if they're beating the goaltenders out east though.
Like I said, if they end up advancing, they're up 3-1. They have arguably, maybe not arguably, the two best players in the NHL.
Yep.
They're going up against Colorado. This is the team in the West that can take down Colorado, is Edmonton. But
they're fast.
But like we said, or at least what I said, I don't trust their goaltending. I don't trust Koskinen. I don't trust Mike Smith. And if you have to play who's the first to 8 with Colorado, you're going to lose. Because Darcy Kemper is better than Mike Smith. And, that series might be a bunch of 7-5 games. I'm not even kidding.
Take it over.
You saw Colorado. I mean, they were down 1-0 to St. Louis the other night, and they scored 4 goals in 5 minutes.
4 minutes and 45 seconds, yeah.
Yeah, so it's that's the series I'm ready to see is Colorado versus Edmonton. However, it is unfortunate. I bet all 4 dogs on a parlay, and St. Louis is probably going to let me down because Tampa's in, New York's got a fighting chance, and Edmonton looks like they're gonna get this series. But I tried to tell. I mean, again, Calgary made the second round, yeehaw! But I tried to tell everybody, oh yeah, the Calgary Flames are overrated. They're absolutely overrated. And now Markstrom was really what kept them in, and now Markstrom looks like crap. So he does. I mean, Markstrom's a potential Vezina candidate who looks absolutely atrocious in the playoffs, or this round of the playoffs. Remember, this is the guy that was on the other side of Jake Ottinger's masterful performance in Game 7.
Are you surprised that Evander Kane has been so amazing with this group? I know Draisaitl and McDavid will obviously make you better, but Evander Kane, we had a lot of history on the show with him with all the crap he went through, and he looks pretty good with his team.
Well, he's
Like
incredibly
12 goals
talented.
now.
He's incredibly talented, and he was incredibly talented with all of the places he was at. He just he's been a good boy. Let's put it that way. He's basically been a good boy, and winning cures all. And we've forgotten about the the situation with his wife. We forgot about the gambling, and you look at it. The situation with his wife. You have to dig deeper. It's really hard to prove abuse when the dad got full custody of the kid.
Oh, so Amber Heard and like she's crapping on the bed. That's not good.
I'm just saying, like, most of the time, it takes a lot for the mom to literally be denied any custody. So all these accusations she threw out probably are all false.
Didn't stick.
Yeah, clearly.
Since we're out of time, I'm just going to go through the last 3 topics with you. See how I baited you into that? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, let's rock it. Let's rock it. I'm awake. Let's roll.
All right, final topics here. Ryan Tannehill says he'll be a great teammate all of a sudden to Malik Willis. Into that, I say it's a bit too late because I hope that he is. I know Malik Willis will probably get along with them because Ryan Tannehill, but I really do that. Because Ryan Tannehill, in my opinion, has already burned the bridge. I don't care how Malik Willis views this. If I'm Malik Willis, I'm like, or if I'm his teammates, I'm like, you kind of acted very emotional on that press conference. He had some time to think about this, said what he said, and then later on says, "Oh, I'll be a great teammate." Not anymore. Not for me.
I still have no problem with what he said. I think Ryan Tannehill's fine as a teammate. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Who ran Ryan Tannehill out of town? It wasn't Tua because Tua wasn't there quite yet. But, like, he was run out of town. Oh, Jay Cutler ran Ryan Tannehill out of town in Miami. So, like, this is a business. Like, they drafted Malik Willis to either be the quarterback of the future or be the quarterback of now, and Ryan Tannehill doesn't like it. So, yeah, as far as exchanging, I mean, he's not going to be the guy who's, like, hazing Malik Willis and throwing him down and being an asshole about it. He's going to be a fine human being. But as far as like, if Malik Willis comes to Ryan Tannehill and says, "Hey man, what do you think about this or that?" or asks him about schemes and coverages, of course he's going to answer. But as far as taking him under the wing, like Ryan Tannehill's not 35. Ryan Tannehill's like what, 30? Like he still has theoretically 5 to 8 good years in the league if he can play well. So why in the world would you want to be a mentor to this guy? You're basically saying, this guy's going to run me out of a job. Now I've collected enough money, but I'm still ready to play and win games, and the Titans have a above average roster to compete, and especially in a softer division. So why in the world would we even consider this a mentorship just because Malik Willis is the rookie? Like, who knows? I mean, Ryan Tannehill's job basically right now is to make sure Malik never sees the field. That's not a very good mentor, if you ask me.
Amen. Tyreek Hill says Tua is very accurate. Not just accurate, he's very accurate, Aaron. And Tyreek should know this, right? Like, correct me if I'm wrong here. Patrick Mahomes made his game flourish, and now he's saying Tua's not that bad either. Are you surprised by this? I actually am surprised that he said this publicly. Because according to everybody else, like, oh, Tua's terrible. Listen, Tyreek Hill was like, he's very accurate. Wow.
So, well, obviously step one, Tyreek is really not trying to create waves a month into being a Miami Dolphin.
Right.
Step two, it's OTAs. Let's be honest here.
Wow.
Now, let's find out week 4 if Tua still has a pretty or accurate ball and is very catchable and one of the prettiest balls I've ever caught in my life. And the only thing I really take from it is a subtle dig at Mahomes, and I don't think I pray no one asks Mahomes, like, what do you take from this? Just let it die, Mahomes. I'm begging you as a man-to-man, just be the bigger man here and just ignore it. Tyreek is gone. He's got to pump up his quarterback. Take it for what you will, and we'll find out week 5 how pretty this ball is.
He's got Brittany to fight his battles for him anyways, just be fair.
Oh, gosh, she's the worst. No. Jackson's the worst.
I'm watching them at the Mavericks game, and I'm like, dude, they're not even talking to each other. They're just sitting there, like, oblivious to each other's presence. Like, why are you I'm sorry, but why are you married to this chick? Seriously.
Well,
Not even talking.
and I can't speak for that all, but I'm pretty sure, high school sweethearts,
Yeah.
they love each other. He still loves her, but I think the problem is there's two people, brother and wife, who are latching on to fame and really,
Won't let her go.
arguably could be ruining your reputation at this point.
That's sad. Anyways,
A little bit.
Sam Darnold
Like
says
Lindsay Lohan's parents.
Sam Darnold said I can be one of the best quarterbacks. Aaron, as a fan of Darnold, this is long overdue. This is the wrong time to say this. I get it, confidence and everything, but this is pretty funny. I don't see it. I'm sorry. Good for Sam.
I was a big Sam guy out of USC, despite the turnovers.
Same.
And I thought a change of scenery would do it for him.
Once Christian Jesus went down, it was over.
Here's the situation. He can be confident that he can be one of the. Sure. Why not? And Christian McCaffrey is a big reason why he could be. Look at the first 3 weeks of the year. 100% I'm on board with he can be a top half of the league quarterback. 100% I can believe that. But he can't do it alone. He's not making the guys around him better, which is sad because he has two phenomenal receivers in DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, and Robbie was brought from New York to help him because they were with each other in New York.
I think Robbie was there first, but I could be wrong.
But if they were, what I'm saying is they were both. You get it,
right? So in terms of everything going right, they finished in last place, so they're playing a fourth place schedule. Everybody stays healthy. Christian McCaffrey, and he's a top. Let's call it even top 18 quarterback. That team could make a wild card berth, 100%.
Only considering you got the Falcons and Saints in the division. Who knows what Saints are going to be offensively?
I think Jameis is getting a lot of disrespect this summer.
Just saying.
Not by you specifically, just by people.
I know. Hey, go to MikeandAaronsDrive.com and click on all of our awesome sponsors. I don't have a guest for tomorrow yet, but I'm working on it. Besides Sammy, as obviously the elephant in the room there. But I'm working on an NLL Thursday guest. So bear with me. Check out the Twitter, AM Drive TV. Any parting shots, Aaron? I hope you sleep well.
I will. Actually, get me caught up with NLL right now. I know that
you missed a great weekend.
I know that the Bandits have advanced. Did the Mammoth advance, or is it Seals?
The Mammoth forced overtime, but Seals, I don't know if you saw the Dane Dobby goal. He literally comes across the net, from behind, and as he's diving, flips behind his shoulder, and the goalie doesn't even see it coming. It's like the Jake Fox goal.
Mm-hmm. So the series is still 1-1, right?
It's 1-1 now, so it's going back to Cooper Perkins Town.
I put this on Twitter. I kind of hope that Bandits and Seals meet up so that Cooper and Steve Bermel can exchange burritos, best burritos in San Diego and best buffalo wings in Buffalo. Come on, let's do it.
Andy Lindahl had a great call, by the way, another friend of the show. Great call on the Mammoth game. So it was kind of bittersweet because, cool, now I can hear Cooper Perkins again. Because I didn't know they were going to give the local guys the playoff game, so that was kind of cool to see.
So, what's funny, though, and the Mammoth taking game one, we thought that was the series that was going to go, bang, 2-0, and the Bandits and Rock would play a tough 3-game set, but it kind of went the other way.
What is your take on the rule in the NLL that if it leaves your net, it still has to go inside the net? Like, if it leaves your little stick thing, it has to go inside the net before the shot clock expires or before the clock expires. Because I don't think NBA, once it leaves your hand, well, this is basically saying, like, if the NBA had a rule where it had to hit the backboard or hit the rim first. Because that's the way the Rock lost. The Rock put it in the net.
Hockey has the same rule. You've got to get it in the net by the time expired. Basketball is the only one that basically moves the goalposts.
Do you think the reason is because the ball can hit the floor before it goes into the net?
I think the reason is basketball sucks. All the other ones.
Whoa. I love the buzzer because the basketball doesn't touch it. But in lacrosse, if it was like an empty net, or in hockey, it still has to technically touch the floor. It's not in the air all the time, right?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if
You
there's
think that's
any
why the
rhyme.
rule is there?
I don't think there's any rhyme or reason to it. I think I think lacrosse is a combination of hockey and soccer, and both sports have to be, the ball has to be in the goal, or puck has to be in the goal by the expiration of time.
Tough break for the Rock, but man, that was an insane finish. They had no business coming back in that game. Tom Schreiber snipes a few of them, and then this at the buzzer they throw an alley oop. Probably should have tried the shot instead of the alley oop, and they might have won. They might have forced overtime.
I'd still like to hear Steve Byrmel's thoughts on you picking the Rock as the better team over the Bandits. So a lot of eating crow this week for you and Sammy.
Easy.
Just saying.
Game 1's in Buffalo, by the way. And that's not until next week, I believe. It would have been this week, but because the Game 3, I love that lacrosse does that. They'll
I'm surprised they're what are they, like 4 days in between games? That's a little long.
Well, on Saturday, I like it, though. A lot of suspense, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they do it because guys have jobs. Guys have other jobs.
And that's one of the most humbling things I've heard all season on this NLL Thursday thing was just hearing about
how they go to work. Yeah,
but it's hump day. It's not Thursday until tomorrow, so enjoy your day.
But
Aaron,
let's hope that eventually they can be fully professional in the NLL or lacrosse in general. And it seems like the ball's rolling that way. So this was fun. I was happy to be able to do it. I'll try to pop in maybe one more time before I really ramp up my summer here. But you guys are doing an incredible job, Mike. I love that you've shifted the camera. You're a little different. I love the mug in the back. It almost feel like a talk show host. You know, it's you're holding it down, and I don't say this enough. You're doing awesome, and you don't get enough credit for all the work you put into the show. And of course, a big thanks to Sammy Action for stepping in my absence and helping out. He's one of the nicest humans I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, and it just, every day he never ceases to amaze me with his kindness, show or no show. But enough goo gaga over you guys. You guys will be back tomorrow for NLL Thursday. Of course, we'll be wrapping up some hockey talk, some basketball talk. The Heat are on tonight, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get there, 3-2?
Yes.
I like the sound of that. Yours, mine, ours, Miami Heat. If they win the title, I think we got to reach out to Kyle Guy again, even though he's not playing in the playoffs.
It's my guy.
Kyle Guy will have to come on the board of the show. But enough of that. I will go ahead and sign off here. Please visit the sponsors at MikeandAaronDrive.com. And, of course, all of our socials are at AM Drive TV. And, of course, YouTube, you can search us through the MikeandAaronDrive.com link. Click on the YouTube logo and subscribe to us. Those are our new outlets at this point: YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Of course, Twitter at AM Drive TV. We're live streaming there as well. But the YouTube is the one we're looking at for you to most be active with. So for Michael Carvelis and Sammy Action, I am Aaron Crouch saying have a wonderful summer. If I don't see you guys or any of the fans until July, and if I do, I'll see you soon. But we are out.
Drive safe.